Alright, this is your creation. My name is Starseed Bey. I wasn't planning to make a video today. Like I said, I was working on a video that I was going to do today, but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take the day off. Well, sometimes the spirit just kind of works in mysterious ways and wants you to make a video. I'm on vacation, so, might as well make another video. so, I've been talking about, and this is how the spirit works. This is how the spirit works within you. Is that the spirit will present yourself or lead you on a path um, for something. For something. You may not entirely know that path, but you'll see the path unfold. And just like throughout my videos, I talk about certain things for certain reasons during certain times, and sometimes that path will trickle in through each video, continues that breadcrumbs, leading into something. Sometimes I don't even know what it is, and we can get so distracted in this physical reality, we lose touch. Go within self, look within self, heal yourself, and know more about yourself within, because laws that are being performed around us, physically, but alarmed, affect us. They affect us, and there's so many things, that we need to be aware of in our daily lives because of that. Like today, I've felt tired today. I was just like, man, I feel like just sleeping and taking a nap today. And my first thought is if I am tired, is what's going on in the spiritual realm? What's going on in the spiritual realm? What do I need to pay attention to in the spiritual realm? And that's something that a lot of people don't think about. A lot of people do not think about that there is an unseen realm that's being played behind the scenes. A lot of people think it's just a fairy tale. They're like, I don't see nothing, man. I don't know what you're talking about. But it affects us. It affects us. It's talked about, throughout history about this spiritual realm, about the jinn, about these demon beings or these ET beings, these gray beings. There is some kind of connection between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. We can't ignore it, or we cannot deny it. Science can say whatever they want, but even science is bringing spirituality into the equation now, into their equation. So we can't ignore that. So I always try to stay away from what the elite are doing, right? What the elite are doing, and you can't. And sadly, you can't ignore it because it's so out there. It's so out there. So they had their VMA Awards or whatever it is, some kind of music award show. And man, they go all out on this stuff. They really just kind of put it out there. And they do their own rituals. And I was like, you know what, man? And that's what triggered me. I was like, you know what? If they're doing rituals in the public eye, they're doing rituals in the public eye, this totally goes against what the government or the elite try to tell you can't do. They're performing spiritual practices, at least their religious practices, in the public eye. And granted, it's in a dome, right? It's in a dome, a stadium, whatever it may be, but still in the public eye. So this leads me into a lot of different ideas on how we can present ourselves differently and how we can perform rituals differently. But we have to maintain that it is an energy concept. It's an energy concept. And I'll go ahead and I'll play images of their performances and what to look for. Just like I talked about with the bell concept and how it has a lot to do with sex magic. I hate talking about this, but this is what spirit is guiding me to present, that this stuff is we should be more concerned about it. We should be more concerned about it. And we've been led astray again on what this stuff represents. Lucifer, translates into light bringer, light barrier, right? Has been talked about a lot too on my path. And that's where you need to pay attention to the spirits and where that spirit is and look at things from a different perception. So we'll go ahead and we'll see what's going on. Hey, how's it going, Jay? So we'll go ahead and look at this stuff. I hate this stuff. I don't like promoting this stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to look at it differently because even the guy who made this video, and I'll give him a little plug. Well, actually, I don't need to give him a plug because it's actually MTV's a site. So, so yeah. So let me switch this over here real quick, and we'll kind of discuss on symbolisms. Symbolisms. Now, granted, people on Facebook, you can't see this because I can't hold the microphone and this at the same time. But you just have to bear with me, I guess. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at this crap, and we'll go from there. And I'll kind of give you guys my feedback on this. Let's see here. Let's get situated here. It's one of these. Alright, here we go. So transition. And it should show up. Yep, you should be able to see this stuff now. Let me make sure. Yep, okay, cool. That's why we go live. You get to see what I'm doing. Alright, so check it out, man. So, I gave in. I decided to watch this crap. But it has a humongous symbolism, and it has to do with what I've been talking about. And people, the conspiracy people, are just, we're trying to crack down on what they're presenting to us, And the person that was reviewing this stuff was talking about on how the wings here, let me make this bigger here. There we go. On how the wings here represents the phoenix rising, right? The phoenix rising. But the unicorns represent something different. So, and that's what we're looking at. There's 2 unicorns, and then there's the wings in the back. And you'll see down here, that they have the symbolism of a planet. And they represent the penis. Looked at the Ankh, right? We looked at the Ankh. I'll go with images later. And how it represents the uterus. And that's what we're looking at. The uterus, the representation of the women, and so on and so forth. It's a sexual preference, but it also is leading into something more. A lot of this rituals was quite interesting, but as you go on, here in the stadium thing here, hold on here. Oh no, it's not working for me. I don't want to play this stuff. Alright, I'm going to have to shrink this here, because you should be able to just kind of skim through. There we go. Alright, so, of course you got their booty thing going on here. But that's kind of what they're doing. And I don't know why it keeps playing here. Oh my word, man. Holy moly. Usually you can just click and stuff. But yeah, but they just represent a lot of sex magic, and that's just kind of how they perform this stuff. This is also leads into on Freemasons and Illuminati concept, and they kind of do the same thing. There we go. It shouldn't play. It should just be able to go through. But yeah, so they start off with that, and then I don't know why it's still playing there. And then we got the queen here, represents the woman, right? The woman, and she's coming out or representing the uterus or the womb, right? And she's coming down from the throne, and it's still playing that crap. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh well. Well, you get the concept, but yeah, so it's all the representation of that. And all these people here are like, oh my gosh, look at that, they're all going like they're gods and stuff. But a lot of people don't realize too is that these people here are actors too, they're staged too, which also brings into the awareness of the distractions. They want you to cheer on for these gods and goddesses. And, this is all stuff we already know already, right? We already know this stuff. But people watch this stuff and people don't pay attention to this stuff. But they're performing this stuff in front of you guys, whether you pay attention to it or not. And this leads into energy. Man, that's annoying. But there's also a scene here. I don't know why it won't do that. Oh well, that's why we go live. But you kind of get the basic concept. But basically, they're performing their own sexual magic here. And I'm trying to get to the area. Oh my word. Oh well. Anyways, maybe I'm not supposed to play this stuff. I don't know. But regardless, it's sex magic, and they're performing it in front of people constantly. They're performing it in front of people constantly. And with sexual energy, it's such a big ordeal. It's such a big ordeal. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this stuff out. Hey, how's it going, John? So I'm gonna go ahead and switch myself back here, because that ain't working. So yeah, but anyways, so sex magic is a big deal. It plays a part in our daily lives, and a lot of times, we'll have those sexual urges, those sexual tendencies, and we have to change that perception. We have to find out where the energy is coming from. Where the energy is coming from. I mean, pornography is a huge thing with people, and if they're not getting those sexual urges or desires, they try to find a way to release it. Right? They're trying to find a way to release it, and with them performing those kind of rituals in front of people, right? In front of people. I think I showed you guys enough of that. But it makes you aware, that since everything is spiritual, right? Everything is spiritual, and we're all empathic, we're all connected. Hey, how's it going, Factor Truth? We're all connected empathically. We feed each other's energy, and we you, and this is where witchcraft comes in, the dark arts come in, and why it's so important to realize these things. There's even another thing. I'll probably go ahead and play that video too, just kind of give you guys an idea of the mind control aspect as well from that thing. Let me go ahead and play some of the images here, because it represents the same thing. Just like here, and how again, like I said, it's all sexual preference. They are worshiping the penis, and they're worshiping the vagina, and that's their whole foundation. That's their whole foundation, and they want you to think, they're talking about God, the Most High, and things like that. But they're trying to get you into a sexual mindset, That's the whole goal for these kind of rituals. You have to look at this, and that's why I need to look into Lucifer more, because maybe that's kind of some kind of representation. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I'll talk about Lucifer later. But we have to look at how deep this sexual magic stuff goes, and it affects us all the time. So this is where you need to be performing your own spiritual rituals within yourself. Praying, meditating, very important. Praying is talking with the Creator, talking with the Christ within you, getting right, and listening to the guides. Meditation is walking with the Most High, walking with Christ, and using that visualization through the third eye, your magi eye, learning from your guides, learning from your spirits, and what you need to look for, what you need to pay attention to. I'm guided through spirit on what to present to you guys. Sometimes this stuff's for you guys, sometimes it's not, but it's for somebody. This stuff has to be out there from a different perception. I give you guys this stuff from a different perception, because there's so much conspiracy theories. People label it into different categories, but this is what I see. Hey, how's it going, Cameron? So we have to look at this stuff, and meditation goes much deeper, because you learn about your field, you learn about your shielding. And I've talked about this before, and how to create a barrier or shield around you daily, tuning in to yourself and reflecting this stuff out into your field, out into your field. Like magnets, for instance, right? Magnets. I bought a lot of magnets, and it helps you uh, within your daily life, in kind of reflecting out. And man, the magnets are really strong today too. But I always have magnets around my bed, and I need to start carrying these magnets in my pockets again. I haven't carried magnets around in a while. But magnets play a huge role because of all of the interference that we have around us. We got satellites, which I've been learning about satellites. There may not really be satellites in the sky. I don't know. But regardless, we got some kind of airwaves, the Prince of Air, that really dampens our energetic field. That dampens our energetic field, and it breaks through us. See Cameron saying he's playing some Skyrim. Hey, that's the way to do it, man. Listen to podcasts and play some games. Learn and play at the same time. Definitely cool. But it's so important to learn on how your energetic field is being tampered with daily, and this is how different kind of spirits and beings can intertwine within you. There's a spiritual battle within you just with your shadow selves, just with your shadow self. But there's also an outside spiritual battle as well. And it has to do with these rituals and this sex magic as well. It messes with us. You got the Jezebel character. Lilith was talked about. I was on another podcast with Jeffrey. And we were talking about Lilith and things like that as well. And it gets deep, man, because we have the battle of the heavens as well that go with all this stuff. And it gets so deep, man. It gets so deep on so many levels. I'm all about finding the best version of you, the best version of you. And it's so important to discover that best version, because it's going to lead you into spiritual practices, because you have to learn on spiritual practices. You have to involve that in your daily lives. It's not a religion. It is part of us. Again, this stuff is what we should have been taught about as soon as we went into school. Spiritual practices, using it the right way. Not sexual preference, not sexual orientation, but spiritual practices. And it's misleading. This world has misled you into thinking, and this is where Aleister Crowley comes into play as well. I mean, you look to the history of Aleister Crowley and then the Illuminati, Freemasons, so on and so forth. Those practices have been brought forward into their secret society, and then they feed it to you. They feed it to you. They program it into you. The good news is, though, is what I was very shocked about is when those VMA Awards played, and it's already been one day, only 3.4 million people watched the video that we just watched a little bit of. Only 3.4 million. That's an all-time low. I was very shocked that it was only that low. I mean, that's still a lot of people, but usually it reaches a much more audience. So one, that means that YouTube isn't messing with the counter, and two, not many people are interested in it now, which is great, which is good. But we need to still pay attention to that these kind of rituals are taking place. They're bringing their rituals that they do privately out into the public. And that's, what I was presenting to you guys, is that their rituals are being brought into the public for you to watch. And they did like a prayer ritual in that video live stream as well. It was very dark, and it just, it shows that what kind of practices they do. And this is why you need to do your practices as well to contradict their rituals. These rituals have been going on forever. And like I said, I'm going to be digging deeper into the origins of these rituals. Why? Hey, how's it going, Sarah? Yeah, and Sarah's right. She says, look at how much energy those 3 million people gave to that ritual. Yeah. And I hate watching that stuff because that's true, because it gives them that little bit of energy, you know, and and you know if the government or whatever is watching me, they're like, oh yeah, Adam fell in for it and he checked it out too, and that's true. I looked into it, but I present it in a way to make you guys more aware of just how bad this sexual magic is. The sex magic is being performed all the time. So, being in the public eye, you see the PG version of it. Go into the secret side of it. Imagine the X side of it, the rituals that they're doing behind the scenes from an X-rated version. That's a bad deal. That's a bad deal. That's a sad deal. That's a sad deal. And it gets so deep. And I already talked about that stuff. Don't want to talk about it again. But it's deep. The stuff is happening all the time. So we need to use our energy and our manifestation and our will and intent to bring out a balance within that, to counteract it. It's kind of like a level barrier, right? Use music, for example, right? You get that bass going, right? You get that bass going, and you want it to raise up higher. So boom, 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 boom. And then once you hit that level of bass, you want it to go boom, 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 and then raise it up more. Boom, 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 boom. Right? You wanna raise that bass. You want to raise that bass. It's giving me goosebumps just talking about it. You want to raise that base level of what your will and intent is. See, they're raising their sex magic and they're going boom, 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 boom. And they're trying to bring it up there more, right? Bring it up there more. And I'll show you that video here of the mind control aspect. They use the MK Ultra stuff there. Mind control aspect in that thing. You'll see the flashing lights in those videos. So as they're performing those rituals, they're also flashing in your eyes. And this is how you need to pay attention to flashing. Flashing is a way of programming too. It programs the mind because when you're using flashing, you're using light, and then you use images, it creates a image fragment, an image fragment in your mind. A form of a ritual. And what happens is when they play their music, right? Because when I was watching it, I had it on mute. I ain't going to be listening to any of that. Because whatever kind of words and intent they're sending out, like I said, words are witchcraft. Words are spells. They're casting spells on you. So whatever they have in their lyrics, is casting out those spells. So when they're doing those flashing in the lights and their performance, they're getting you to perform those kind of rituals unawareingly. So you can get more sexual tension. Say you get more sexual tension, and then you go and perform, whatever you need to do behind the scenes, right? But you can send that sexual energy to them instead of it staying within. It gets deep. It gets real deep, man. It gets real deep. But they were using that kind of stuff, and I was astonished at what they did. But I'll show you that video here in a second because it was insane. It was insane. But that's why it's so important to do your spiritual practice, meditation, learn different techniques of meditation. Get with your guides. Learn how to create your own circles. Back when I woke up in 2010, I bought crystals, I bought different kind of rocks, and built a circle around me, some kind of protection. Let's see. Cameron says the only reason they put the rituals out into the public is if the people don't say anything about it. It looks to the universe we're allowing it with our free will. Basically, I think what Cameron's saying is the same thing. Is that, if we don't pay attention to it, and we don't bring it to the public live, going, hey, look, these people are performing their rituals out into the public eye, we should be able to actually perform ours as well in the public eye, right? Ours as well in the public eye. But people don't see that. They think it's some kind of staged dance choreography, right? Just a choreography. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Don't pay attention to it, man. It's just a dance choreography, right? A dance choreography. But it's so much deeper than that. Can you imagine the stuff? And this is the thing that I was watching with this guy explaining some things, right? Because his thought the things that they were performing was for the Phoenix Rising, right? The Phoenix Rising, are talking about Lucifer, but it's deeper. Like I said, it's sex magic, and that's entirely what they're doing. It's not no Phoenix Rising. It's building that sex magic up more and more and more, because it's all about energy. And this also comes into the effect of the D-Wave computer. Again, look into the D-Wave computer, because this is what CERN is using to open this kind of gateway, and bring into this reality, either to bring out or bring in. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. We have the whole Mandela effect thing. Don't want to go into it, but we can't deny that there's things that are changing, whether it be from a timeline perception. And I've talked about timelines before. Not familiar with timelines. Timelines just means that every kind of thought that, or choice that you have of an idea, creates an alternate Earth or an alternate timeline, and you can jump back and forth, and there's going to be different altercations within each of those timelines. And I talked about that too when I was watching Jeffrey on his podcast. There's actual matrix prisons as well, holographic Earths that can entrap us as well. It gets real deep. Into that. But that's what timelines are, and we jump back and forth through these different timelines. So are these D waves altering those timelines, or are these D waves trying to see if they can alter time? I don't know, because time doesn't exist. Time is just an illusion of some kind, but everything plays out at the exact same time frame. So you can make timelines fall and collapse, so on and so forth. And what I've noticed with timelines is that people's moods will change, and you'll notice certain things, like say your coworkers, even your wife or your husband, your children. How they act. The normal aspect of how they act. But sometimes they'll get out of character. And they'll act differently. Or some kind of emotion will overtake them and they act differently. And it's an awareness pattern of, hey, you're on some kind of weird timeline loop of people not acting themselves. And you have to look at your energy and go, hey, why am I in this? What am I supposed to be doing here? So when they act differently, you need to pay attention to that. We were also talking about the Jezebel being as well. And that's very important to realize as well, is this Jezebel character plays a big part in this as well. All of these energy beings play a big part. Like I said, the stars in the sky are beings. They manipulate humanity in some way, shape, or form. Same with the planets. I'm really learning a lot more about the planets. And once I get enough information, we can talk more about the planets. I've been talking about Saturn, and so on and so forth. But this Jezebel character is huge, and it plays a big role in people. I've seen this Jezebel character a lot. I've seen them, in women. When they come and talk with me, it'll have that same kind of characteristic, and when they're possessed by that, because they're out of the norm. Now, if it's a stranger, granted, I don't know how they act, right? But if they have that Jezebel characteristic, that's who's talking to me, is a Jezebel character, is a Jezebel being, and it's bizarre, and you really have to pay attention to it. Why is that entity talking to me? Why isn't that soul talking to me, but it's a Jezebel character instead? You know, why is it Jezebel character paying attention to me, right? Paying attention to me. And just pay attention to your surroundings too. You know, I have people who shake my hand all the time. You know, and it's a feeding of energy. It's an energy exchange of some kind. You know, whether it be a healing energy, or they're wanting to learn more about my energy. It's just paying attention. You know, it's an energy game. It's a synergy game. That's the whole battlefield of this earth. You know, it's not no, hey, you know, let me live my life and go to work and you know, collect stuff or just mind my own business. You know, it's so much deeper than that. So much deeper than that. And we have to realize that. You know, that's why I present this stuff to you, because you need to realize just how important the spiritual realm is. Just how important the spiritual realm is. And you ain't going to realize how important it is until you do your daily practices of praying and meditating. It's important to discover this stuff. You know, just like Cameron here, you know, he's playing Skyrim, which is great. You know, I play games too. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you guys. You know, I do play games. It's a form of stress relief for me. You know, sometimes you have to get out there. You know, I love going out in nature, but I also like to adventure into, like right here. You know, I'm reading X-Men right now. You know, I love X-Men, and I read these trade paperbacks. You know, and I learn from this stuff too. It's a comic book. You know, who would have thought you can learn stuff from a comic book? But you know, it's reading material. But I'm also, you know, writing my book as well, trying to write that book as well. You know, different things. You know, each person has something that they're interested in. I learn a lot from video games. The games I play aren't games that are mindless. It has a point to it. I'm big into RPGs. I love RPGs. Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, whatever it may be. If the game has some kind of deep element into it, I'm gonna play it, because it involves more of that spiritual element. These RPG games bring some kind of spiritual element to it, and how it presents themselves is of a spiritual element to it. It's bizarre, but you know, if I'm learning from it, I'm going to bring it into my daily practices. Hey, how's it going, True Seeker? Let's see what we got here. But yeah, so utilize your time wisely. Utilize your time wisely. Um, I'm on vacation right now, so I'm really trying to strategize on how I utilize my time, but also give myself time to relax. Like I said, I wasn't planning to make a video today, but the Spirit said, hey, you need to present this stuff out there. Talk about spiritual energy. Talk about the sex magic that's going on too. It's a big deal. A lot of people are talking about it. So it's definitely an important part of this spiritual warfare. And we can't lie about it. You know, there is a spiritual warfare going on. And I was outside yesterday. I wanted to actually do a video outside yesterday, because it was really weird yesterday. You know, the smoke doesn't help any at all. I mean, smoke is everywhere. Smoke is everywhere. But there was these black clouds outside, and it wasn't stormy outside. It was smoggy because of the smoke, but there was these just black like clouds out there, and it didn't have anything to do with thunder or lightning or anything. It was bizarre. It was bizarre. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the sky. And even the clouds out there right now look pretty bizarre too. So there's interesting stuff. The thunder's been really interesting too, as well. So you really have to pay attention to what's going on. There's so much stuff going on, and I kind of got distracted here. Oh yeah, we're talking about games. Talking about games. But yeah, as long as you're learning on everything you're doing, from a spiritual standpoint, it's so very important. So very important. As Cameron says, he plays Skyrim as an adventure, and it puts so much thought in my character they become real to me, and it's fun for my brain. And it's true too. I mean, you know, and I get bored. I'll be honest with you guys. I do get bored in this reality sometimes. my whole focus for you guys is to discover more about spirit. When I'm out in the world, that's all I talk about. When I'm working, that's what I bring to people. You know, when someone talks about something and they're ready to talk about the next level of things, you know, I'm going to present it. I'm going to present it. You know, when someone's has a negative perception on something, oh, I don't know why people do this. You know, it's so stupid. I'm like, why are you talking like that, man? What kind of solution can we do to make our work environment better? To make our work environment better. Oh, it ain't gonna do no good. You know, they're gonna still work the way they work. Well, you know, I try to present it to you. Let's find some kind of solution. Change your mind perception. You know, that's what I bring to the table when I'm at work. I look for solutions no matter what it is. Well, when I'm checking out somebody, you know, cashiering, you know, and they give their money to me, you know, there's a guy that said, "Hey, here's your Federal Reserve." And I was like, "Federal Reserve?" He's like, "Yeah, that's what it's called, Federal Reserve." Um, so, you know, just talking about different concepts, you know, talking about spirituality, whatever it may be. Sarah says, the power of positivity. Yeah, that's true. We have to change the environments. You know, we have to change people's will and intents. And sometimes you got to force it onto people just to get it out there. Just to get it out there. So, yeah, so I'm starting to ramble on here. But at the end of the day, let's go ahead. We'll look at that mind control thing. I was amazed they actually were doing that. I don't remember what video it was. Let me see here. Let me get this ready and I'll show you. This is insane, man. This is like let me see here. It was this one here. I think it was. Let me get this playing, make sure it's on mute so I don't. Alright, so check this out, man. Let's see here. Alright, there we go. Alright, transition here. But yeah, check this stuff out, man. This was insane. Let me get to the right thing here. Yeah, but check this out, man. This is crazy. But yeah, look at that, man. That right there is how you brainwash somebody. That's a form of mind control, and it gets crazy through here, man. It gets crazy. Watch this, man. Because yeah, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And can you imagine what that was like actually being there live? What it was like being there live. And whatever he's saying in his videos or in his lyrics and things like that, it's going to just really mess with you, man. But I thought it was rather interesting. I thought it was. The whole thing is interesting. This whole performance was weird, man. It was. And also, actually, I'll talk about this here too real quick. This right here. I never really knew what that represented right there. That peace sign, right? That peace sign. Well, they say it's upside down cross or it's blasphemy against the cross. Well, I was talking about Saturn and how that girl or that person, right? You know, talking about super soldier and stuff like that, you know, and how they were at Saturn and they had all of these human beings hanging upside down, right? All these human beings dead upside down. And then they use that ritual back in the olden times. That's how they persecuted people, is they would hang people upside down on trees. People upside down on trees. For what they did, or a form of sacrifice, and that's exactly what this is sacrificing, human sacrifice right there. And that's what I said, you have to pay attention more to what these rituals are, what they represent. And like I said, you know, this is a performance. So imagine what kind of rituals they're doing behind the scenes that we're not seeing. And the stuff is still performed. I mean, you can't deny that stuff. And yeah, so that's the mind control aspect that they were doing, and it was insane, man. It was insane, dude. Let's see, Jay saying Illuminati symbol. On Saturn's Worship. Yeah, on Saturn Worship. Yeah, definitely. And I learned something too. I didn't realize this either, but the World Trade Center, right? They built some kind of monument. Never looked into it. Never looked into it. But I didn't realize that that they formed it into a cube. They formed it into a cube. And again, what's the cube representative of? It's Saturn. More worshiping of Saturn. Saturn's worshipped through this whole planet. And we have to learn on how to counterbalance that. Counterbalance that. Our energy is being used all the time. All the time. It's insane, man. It's insane. As the True Seeker was saying here, some deep esoteric info in these games. A lot of their lore is legit ancient knowledge. Yeah, it is, man. Just like with X-Men here. The writers of these actually use biblical references and ancient history throughout these. Just like this one here. This was the introduction of the character named Bishop, and he's a time traveler and he goes back into the past, and so on and so forth. And it's really awesome stuff, man. I love X-Men. It's so cool. But yeah, and a lot of the games are the same way. I've been playing a game called Arc the Lad. It's an old PS2 game, but I got it on my PS4. And it has a lot to do with these um, demon-looking beings. I forget what they're called, but they're horned beings, and they had to divide themselves. So the demon kind of beings could not associate themselves with human beings. So the rituals of the humans had to stay separate from theirs, and they couldn't communicate with each other. But of course, with these kind of games, it teaches you that you do need to come together, and you do need to learn about different cultures, learn on what they're doing, and you can actually work together. You can actually work together for a common goal. And then you learn that, that there's evil, or that there's bad intentions within both parties. Both human side has a bad intentions, and then, that the other beings have their own intentions as well. So it's always something that you can always join together. You can put religious differences aside and work together for a common goal. And that's what I try to tell you guys through all my videos, is that we have to work towards a common goal. We get so distracted within our daily lives, a lack of spiritual rituals. We're not using any kind of spiritual rituals within our daily practices. Meditation is key. I perform different kind of meditation practices all the time. I used to sit for hours and hours and hours meditating and meditating and meditating. I would fall asleep meditating and all that stuff. See, John here says, man, a lot of anime as well have deeper messages to them. Good deep message. Yes, I love Japanese anime. I watch anime all the time. I'm watching an anime called Saint Seiya right now. That really has. I love Saint Seiya. It's a hidden gem anime, old one. That definitely is overlooked. But check it out, man. I downloaded the fighting game on my PS4, and it has so much symbolism to it because it has a lot to do with the planets and the star alignments and things like that, and how these characters are fighting through each stages of these houses, right? Of these houses. It gets to astronomy and all that stuff too. But it's deep stuff. I love Japan. That's why I love Japan, because it has such a spiritual atmosphere to it, and it really digs deep into the what's the word, like metaphysical, esoteric, like True Seeker said, elements that has to do within self. We have to be in tune. Just talk with the natives. They're in tune with nature. They're in tune with the spiritual essence of things, animals, things like that. Staying in tune. We live in a world of consumers, consuming us, and it's insane, man. It's insane, how much consuming humanity has allowed this stuff. Humanity has allowed this world to become a consumer type structure. But the United States is the top dog for consuming stuff. All of this stuff we don't need. We don't need this stuff. We don't need video games. But hey, it's a side thing. We can enjoy. We can enjoy, definitely. But some people get consumed in video games, and that's all they do is they play video games constantly. Therefore, all their energy is wasted, and they could have been doing something else. You can get lost in video games. You can get lost in watching, binge watching anime, right? You know, there's just so many things. Like myself, I stay busy constantly. If I'm watching a movie, I also will have my notebook trying to write stuff down. Or, I'll play a handheld game. Or I'll be actually even listening to a podcast while watching a movie at the same time. Multitasking, learning. I'm learning constantly. Reading stuff, watching what people are posting, with True Seeker here. I'm on his Discord channel and, seeing what everybody's talking about on there. Learning, observing, growing, seeing where people are at, seeing where my friends are at. That's my friend, that's my family, that's my tribe. Building tribes together. So very beautiful and so very important to link with people. I mean, we're linking right now. That's great. We have a live chat, so then I can get an idea of who's watching this and where you guys are coming from too. We can all relate. Everybody here, I can relate with. We play video games, watch anime, things of that nature. We can relate with that. We also have a spiritual connection too. Spiritual connection, and we have to go on a deeper level too. We have to maintain that. And that's what I was talking about with meditation, learning how to perform different meditation techniques. It gets deep. It gets deep, and you really have to utilize your empathic abilities as well. When you're interacting with people or you see people, what do you feel when you're around that person? What do you feel when you're outside? Like when I go outside, I'm like, all right, I need to see what kind of energy is out there. I was just out there a little bit ago before I went live, filling out the energies, looking and seeing what's outside. What's going on outside. Filling out the mood, filling out the atmosphere. I'm nonstop, man. I don't ever really have a day off from this spiritual stuff. I don't. I'm constantly trying to figure this stuff out. Constantly, all the time. All the time I'm trying to figure out what's going on behind the scenes. How can we change things? How can I get myself out there more, right? I'm trying to build and get myself out there, trying to bring my alternative viewpoint out there, and it's up to you guys to get me out there. I can't do it by myself. So, it's up to you guys to get me out there as well. But I'm just going to keep making videos. It doesn't matter if I get 100 views or, if I get 100,000 views. If I get 100,000 views, man, that'd be awesome, man. That means I'm doing my job right and life is good, right? But it doesn't matter. I'm getting that information out there, and that's all that matters. If it reaches 100 people, man, that's good. And hopefully you guys are doing your spiritual practices to balance out the energies that are going on out there. With all that sex magic. And that's what I was talking about with my mom. She was watching this movie called Skulls. It has to do with the skull and bones concept, right? And I was like, wow, that's in sync with what I was just talking about. The connection between the skull and bones, Illuminati, Freemasons, as well as the business, the archon structures, and how, the Roman Empire was built. That's what the United States is built off of, is the banking system. You control the banks, you control the military. The United States has the hugest military in the world. And then you control the churches, which is the Vatican. Man, you have your biggest empire right there. And it's just putting all these pieces of the puzzle together. It's a spiritual warfare, and they try to consume you in that. I'm also looking into nationality ID, and that's something we have to look at. Like myself, our parents didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. We're considered, if we're born in the United States and and we're a United States citizen. That's all we are. But as far as I know, I don't have an international ID. I'm not ID'd from an international standpoint. From my bloodline standpoint, I would have to go. I need to go and find out what kind of blood type that's the most strongest within me. I got lots of blood types in me. Native. I got black in me, which I call them brown, right? Dark skin brothers, right? I got that in me, I'm sure I got some other stuff in me as well. So I'm looking into the national ID aspect because, say, for some weird reason, hopefully it never happens, right? But, we have to realize we've heard about it. We've heard about on how the United States is a business. If you're not aware, United States is a business, separate entity from America, right? From America. Look into it. Look into it. And if you're just a United States citizen, you have no nationality, you are owned by the United States. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So if the United States ever falls, are you held accountable because you're a United States citizen and you have no nationality? You could be. You could be. There's a lot of things that are being broke down right now. I gotta watch it. Oh man, I gotta be going. I gotta go pick up my kids again. But there's a lot of things we have to look at. So if the United States ever broke down, we have no kind of nationality. That's where these camps would be, is that you would be put into these United States camps because you have no nationality. It gets deep, man. What else? I was going to talk about something real quick before I get out of here. Crap, I don't remember. Oh well, that's okay. Let's see. Hey, how's it going, White Wave? The Vatican is its own mafia. Yeah, no joke. I mean, it's a big mafia, cartel and mafia all the way, man. It's insane. It's crazy, man. And we have to pay attention to that stuff too. Man, there's something important I wanted to talk about before I left. Oh well, let's see. White Wave says, brothers are usually cool. All races possess beauty. Yeah, they definitely do. I'm colorblind. I'm colorblind. I mean, not like, I can't see colors, but I mean, in terms of skin color, I don't care what skin color you are, man. It's the spirit that counts. It is your soul that counts. It defines you. It distinguishes you. And that's who I talk to when I talk to each one of you guys. I don't care what color your skin is, man. Let's see, John says, hey, bro, stay up, man. I'll catch you on your next stream. All right, thanks for tuning in, John. Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, I don't identify anybody with any skin color. It don't matter. And that's why I like Star Trek, because if these beings come down here, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna talk about real quick. Say if other beings come to light, right? Blue beings, tall beings, insect beings, whatever it may be. If they come to light, we have to look at them from their soul. Don't distinguish them from how they look. From how they look. That's what Star Trek teaches you. They're preparing for you. Gene Roddenberry was smart. They're preparing for you for different kind of beings. Eventually, it's going to happen, man. Whether it be genetic manipulation, whatever it may be, we're going to start seeing different kind of creatures on this planet. Hopefully, it's not an AI. That's the least thing we need is AI, and that's something that I'll talk about again. Because from what I've learned, including watching those stupid videos of those rituals, those were AI people in there too. AI people. I had no idea that androids have become so realistic looking. I had no idea. And I think honestly, I've talked to androids already because they act really weird. They have no soul in them. You can feel it. Like I said, when you're empathic, you feel people. You'll feel people if they're stressed out or if they're happy or whatnot. But some people, you just can't read them at all. So that leads me to believe that we already have androids walking among us already. We didn't know. We didn't know. That's why a lot of people have that blank look in their face. I thought they were just zombies, but I think it's because they're actual androids. So, something to think about too. But real quick, the Space Force thing again. It sounds like a joke, but it's not. I was watching some old 13 Sun videos, Man, I miss him, man. He brought a lot of good stuff to the table. He really did. He's really right in your face too. But he was talking about on how you're living in the last days when you see women flaunting their butts around, right? When all it is about the booty. And it's true too. Man, it's so bad because like women nowadays, they wear these skin tight pants. They're called leggings, right? Leggings. You can see everything. You see everything. And I tell my wife, I'm like, and I tell my daughter, I'm like, you will never wear those pants. You'll never wear leggings, man. If you want to wear leggings, you're gonna be wearing a skirt or something, man. Because it's nasty, man. And leggings are no different than pantyhose, right? Or whatever they're called, right? It's no different, man. And so, yeah, when you live in the last days, you're going to see people flatten their butts. And that's exactly what they're doing. Sex magic, sex magic, sex rituals. And it's a bad deal. But, anyways, with the Space Force thing, we're getting prepared. And, like myself, I've been looking into floating islands. I've been talking about this, about how there's ships that are cloaked, and there's also floating islands that could be up there as well. And a lot of things I feel are going to be revealed. I mean, it's going to end up being like a big O video game happening. We already got the spiritual warfare, and it's becoming more and more known. We have all of these sonic booms happening all over the world too, which are the trumpets that are talked about as well. And I've heard them too out here, man. It's weird. You think it's thunder, but you go out there, it's clear sky. So where are these booms coming from? Where are these booms coming from? It's some kind of spiritual warfare. It's something going on in the sky. If you got floating mountains, you got cloaked ships. Again, watch the clouds when there is lightning storms. There's lightning storms. There's something going on. There's something going on. What it is, I don't know, but it's something. But yeah, I gotta go, man. I'm running late, man. But yeah, so love yourself. Keep shining bright. Thanks for tuning in. Uh, like I said, I got a YouTube channel. Check me out on there. Like, subscribe. I'm also on Facebook. Just type in Starseed Bey. You're gonna find me on there as well. So yeah, so thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for in the chat room. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.